we get a ton of phone calls, about these small little restaurants, these small little bars, right?
Yeah. All
And
right.
it really started a couple of years ago. I think 2 years ago they just started coming out. At least for us, they just started coming out of the woodwork, and it was because in Indiana they passed a law where if you have a liquor license, you had to have they now requires you to have a minimum of $500,000 of liquor liability insurance. And apparently that wasn't required before to have your liquor license in the state of Indiana. But now all of a sudden it was. So we were getting calls, I mean, for like the last 2 years straight from these tiny little bars all over Podunk, Indiana. And I mean bigger areas as well, to
Yeah.
be fair, but really these tiny little small towns, and they had never had liquor liability insurance before, and now they're getting these letters from the Indiana Alcohol Tobacco Commission saying that in order to renew your license or whatever, you need to show proof of insurance. So I was really amazed to see how many never had insurance in the past.
Right.
They just didn't care, didn't want to buy it.
Yeah.
That's their prerogative, I guess. But so now it was required, and it was really, I think, a sticker shock to a lot of people. And probably the reason why they weren't purchasing it before is because liquor insurance is not cheap. It's pretty expensive, especially for a straight up bar.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a restaurant that has a lot of food sales, they base it off of the percentage of your food to liquor sales, right? And
Right.
if you're, there's like different categories. There's like 0 to 30% liquor sales. There's 30 to 75% liquor sales, and then there's like 75% plus of your total sales. Liquor is like the most expensive category. So if you are a restaurant that has less than 30% of your gross sales is liquor, then the insurance really isn't that expensive, right? We've been doing a lot of these recently.
Very reasonable. Yeah, very reasonable at that point.
Yeah, because these are the kinds of places that are not necessarily open till midnight. They don't have they may or may not have a bar area with seating, but it's really a restaurant that has liquor. And the 30 to 60 or 30 to 70% gross sales it gets to be a little bit tougher. But a lot of insurance companies who are in the restaurant business will still kind of accept that, and you can get it for a reasonable premium. But once you get 75% gross sales and up is due to liquor, the price like skyrockets for
Like
the
500%,
it skyrockets
Yeah.
for the premium.
if not more.
Yeah, it really can.
Yeah.
It really can. And so, anyways, we're getting tons of these phone calls, and we sold a lot of liquor insurance to these small little bars. And the part of the problem is just in the marketplace for the insurance companies, there's not a lot of competition. There's only a handful of insurance companies, at least here in Indiana and Illinois, that do just liquor liability insurance, because a lot of these small owners, they have insurance on their building, all right, and they've got maybe the general liability insurance, and they might have that with a company that just won't do the liquor, right? So they need a standalone liquor insurance policy, and there's only 2 or 3 or maybe 4 insurance companies out there that do those. So once and they're all super expensive.
Yeah.
We have access to all of those companies, so we always, we check every single one, see which one we can get the best price from, and we present it to them, and that's all we can do.
Well, then
That's
what
all we
makes
can
it
do.
even tougher is a lot of these, they're small bars. They have these other generating forms of income, for
Right.
like entertainment wise, right?
Right.
Which is a great idea for business. You're bringing in business.
Yeah.
However you can bring it in, right? But so you've got like pull tabs, or
Yeah.
you've got
Darts,
pool. You've got lottery machines.
Yeah.
You've got midget wrestling.
Yeah, well, that's
you've
an
got,
interesting case. And like the things like the darts, most of the time that's not a big deal. And these are all things that affect the premium. The insurance companies have a questionnaire essentially, right? When we're doing an application, we're sitting down with a customer that owns a bar, and we're learning about their business, right? We're asking, okay, what are your hours? Do you guys check IDs? Do you have a digital scanner?
It's a discount if
Do
you
you
do.
do you have a bouncer at your bar? Do you
This
have a
is an exposure if you do.
right? Do you have a dance floor? Do you guys
Yeah.
how often do you guys hire a DJ or a band? All these things. There's a lot of things that the insurance company wants to look at because they're trying to, how big of a risk are you, right? Well, turns out that hosting midget wrestling events is kind of difficult. This is like an actual professional organization that does the midget wrestling. I mean, it's kind of funny, but it's really entertaining. I'd love to go see one actually in person, but they come out to your facility and they set up a ring, like a WWE style ring.
Right.
And they have performers,
Yeah.
and they come in and they do their thing, and they actually carried their own insurance.
Yeah.
And we're dealing with a guy that does this once a year, or at least he has in the past, and it caused him all kinds of issues. His insurance got canceled, and then because the insurance company realized, and a lot of people don't realize, and this is true just for all kinds of businesses, not just bars and restaurants, but when you are purchasing insurance and you're working with an agent like us, and we are going through the application process, and we submit the application and all of the information to an insurance company, and we as the agents, right, we're trying to paint our client in the best light. We're trying to paint a good picture for the insurance company of our client, right?
Yeah.
These are their safety controls, all these things. People don't realize that the insurance companies, the underwriters who are actually reviewing the application and pricing it, they go online. They know how to use
They
the
do
Facebook.
a lot of research and investigation on your business.
They do.
They do.
They know how to use Google. They get on there, type in your name.
There's a real person behind there that's reviewing your accounts.
It is. And so you got to be careful what you're posting on social media. What you're posting, advertising. If we say on the application that your cheapest price beer or wine is $3.50, but then you've got ads posted every day for happy hour at $1.50, bottomless mimosas or unlimited beer or whatever, whatever you're doing, then that's a problem. So
I see that 1 out of 3 liquor applications. I see them for bars. Do you do any sort of happy hours? No, I don't. Then you go online, you look at the website.
happy hour.
And there's a happy hour, and then you talk to them, and they're like, well, I'm not doing that anymore.
Right.
And it's like, well, that's not the issue.
Then take it down.
You need to take it off of your website.
Right.
And a lot of people are like, are you kidding me? And no. That's what, if you want this is what you have to do.
Yeah.
And it's an uncomfortable conversation to have with an independent business owner who's like, I can do whatever I want to do. Well, it's like, no, you can't.
Well, here's another one too. How about this? We just had this come up the other day. I think when we were working on where submit an application, everything's correct on the application, but then the insurance company underwriter comes back and say, hey, what happened with this? And then he sends us a couple of articles of some local news articles of like assault, fights or whatever that happened at the bar, police.
Yeah, how did he pull that up? They do research.
They do. So they they research your restaurant online. So having a good, healthy image of your business online is huge when it comes to the liquor insurance and insurance in general.